And then let's talk about StarRocks architecture and how StarRocks can be deployed, to for your use cases, right? A lot of you are probably StarRocks users. You probably know that StarRocks can be used first as a data warehouse or as a data lakehouse query engine, right? As a data warehouse, StarRocks has a very simple architecture when compared to other similar solutions. Has no external dependencies, only has two kinds of processes, FE and CN. Right? FE is the catalog manager, is in charge of managing the metadata and generating query plans, right? And CN is a kind of like the muscle of the StarRocks cluster, is in charge of scanning data from external storages and caching data and actually performing the query execution, right? As a data warehouse, so StarRocks persists the data for you, right? So the data is persisted within StarRocks with StarRocks' own file and table format, right? StarRocks' own table format with StarRocks tables, right? And the formats are built specifically for high performance workloads, right? It supports real-time mutable data. You can use StarRocks with data updates and get sub 10-second data freshness, right? And its own storage feature, a lot of them are built for extremely high concurrency, low latency, customer facing like workloads, right? And StarRocks also features an storage and compute separated design, right? Or call it a shared data design, where instead of the data persisting inside of each node, it is persisted in remote storage, still in StarRocks' own file format, though, right? In a cloud object storage, such as AWS S3, right? And the built-in cache, memory and disk-based caching, is on CN, and that's for query acceleration, right? So you can get the same performance as it would, like a shared nothing architecture, right? A shared data architecture is great for the cloud. Why? Because you can scale your compute and your storage independently, right? So there is less waste of resource, and also because you're not really persisting any data within your nodes, your compute nodes, so you can evict any nodes you have when the traffic is low without actually losing data, right? So scaling is great in this kind of architecture, right? And also StarRocks is standard SQL compliant, as well as it supports Trino dialect, so you can keep all of the BI tools you love, right? As long as it supports standard SQL or MySQL protocol. And also StarRocks can be used as a Lakehouse query engine, right? So the difference between this and the data warehouse architecture is that instead of persisting data within StarRocks, it's persisted in an external data lake or data lakehouse system, open lake system, right? In open lake table formats and open standardized file formats, right? And table formats such as Delta Lake, Apache Iceberg, Apache Hudi have open standard file formats such as Parquet ORC, even CSV, right? And StarRocks is built to deliver data warehouse-like performance on the data lake, so you can unify even the most demanding workloads on your data lake